is the GMologist, GM extraordinaire, the GMologist.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GMologist Presents. First, I want to apologize, especially to Jason Connerly. I am a goof, and I talked about what your message said, but then I put it at the very end of the show in my last episode that was called Rocktober Continued. I think it's 298 or something like that. Am I at 298? Sorry, that is 288. Rocktober Continued, Big Texas Comic-Con Prep and Collins. So, yes, I am a goof and I messed up. So this time I will try to be more mindful. But this show, I think, is going to be very focused. I think it's just going to be on the Rocktober. So it'll be Rocktober 3. I do have a report from Big Texas Comic-Con. And then I want to catch up on the show about my latest games I've played since then, and some interesting things that have gone on mechanically, campaign-wise. Not really a read of like M.W. Lewis does in his Worlds of M.W. Lewis. I'd love to do that. I just don't know if I have the talent or bandwidth to do so. But it'd be kind of cool to one of these days do like a read along or a read about, which he does very well. Or maybe I don't need to do it because he already does it. So anyway, first we're going to have a call by Mark the Meek. And it's a long call. I don't think I'm going to break it up. You can hear the continuing journey of Mark the Meek and his rock heavy metal journey. And then I will talk about the prompts. And then that'll probably be it. I'll publish it and then on to the next thing.
Hey, Carl. I enjoyed that Rocktober episode. Thanks for reflecting on my journey here. You started listing off all of those new metal bands, and it was like such a blast of my past. It was crazy. A little trip down nostalgia lane. So thank you for that. You mentioned a lot. I love metal covers as well. You mentioned Nightwish. They do a cover of The Phantom of the Opera. I enjoy that. Elvin King does a cover of Heaven is a Place on Earth. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this one right. Teresas. They do a cover of Rasputin, which was just recently mentioned in one of the channels for the Audio Dungeon Discord. They also do Jethro Tull's Bring Me My Broadsword. I mean, that's a good enough song without needing a cover of it, but I just thought I'd mention that. Battle Beast does Push It to the Limit. Just a few of the ones that I listen to every once in a while. Another example of a great song, Ronnie James Dio, or I'm not sure if it was Dio, but Last in Line. Tenacious D did a tribute to them and did a cover of The Last in Line. I like that as well, both of those versions. So, yeah, just some random covers that I enjoy. But, you also mentioned the inspiration thing that we talked about before. And I think this kind of works both ways. I mean, I was already talking about how Blind Guardian was inspired by different authors, different folktales, etc. Another example of that would be Wind Rose, which is an Italian band. They're power metal, or maybe they might call themselves dwarven metal, because they take on the personas of dwarves in their songs. So, and they are very inspired by Tolkien, as some of the names of their songs you could probably pick up pretty quickly. There and Back Again, The King Under the Mountain, To Erebor. And then they also do some silly songs, Diggy Diggy Hole, I Am a Dwarf, I'm digging a hole, Diggy Diggy Hole. And then they have a Drunken Dwarves song as well. So, I haven't started talking about what inspires me for a campaign, but it's also fun to think about what inspires bands to write their songs. An American power metal band, Seven Kingdoms. I mean, the name of the band is inspired by the Game of Thrones. They have several songs I think about that, but the one I enjoy, I haven't read the story yet, but H.P. Lovecraft's Rats in the Walls is an inspiration for one of Seven Kingdoms songs just called In the Walls. And the part of the chorus is, "You must believe me, I am not guilty. It was the rats in the walls, leading me further, perpetual horror, into the cellars below." So I know enough of the story to kind of get the illusion, but I haven't actually read that H.P. Lovecraft story. So just another an example of a band being inspired. Now let's talk a little bit about what inspires me. So first off, there's a song, this is not technically metal, I suppose, but there's a band called Blood Command. They're kind of a Norwegian punk rock or quote-unquote death pop band. They've got a song called A Villain's Monologue. And I would love to slip in some of these lines from the song into a villain's mouth as they're fighting the PCs. I don't know if it would work for fantasy necessarily, but I think it would still be fun. So here's some of the lyrics. "Hey boy, what's up with that attitude? You should show some gratitude. Don't you know I made you, dude? You're nothing but the interlude. Your lack of facts is kind of rude. I think you suffer some delusions about your self-appointed magnitude. There is no greatness that you're destined for. Stay in your seat, keep your feet on the floor. You should be careful when you're flying in this altitude, 'cause there's a fire up in here and you're waiting to be barbecued. You wouldn't last against me for a minute. You are here on holiday and I am here to win it. I want to touch the sky, yeah, maybe I'm a mess. I want to torch the world, yeah, baby, I confess. I can smell your mouth from here decaying. I don't believe you understand a single word you're saying. Why are you staying? So get down on your knees, 'cause you better start praying." I think it would just be fun to throw some of that nonsense into a battle. So I might try to slip that in at some point. So that's just a little fun inspiration there. If you want some Norse or Viking inspiration and you just love fun power bands, I would recommend Brothers of Metal. They're a Swedish power metal band. They've got a couple of albums, Prophecy of Ragnarok and Embla Saga. They've got another album coming out soon. Some of their songs are directly inspired by different things from Norse mythology. So one of their songs is just called Yggdrasil, another Sleipnir, about the nine-legged horse, Berserker, about the berserkers taking on the aspect of a wolf or a bear. Yeah, they have songs about Jormungandr, Hel, or Hela, I guess. Yeah, just like the different creatures, about Ragnarok itself. So if you just want some general Norse inspiration, that's a lot of fun. And they don't take themselves seriously, which I really appreciate. I'll quickly highlight two of their songs. Son of Odin is a song sung from the perspective of Thor. And it says, "I am the son of Odin. I bring lightning from the sky. With my hammer Mjolnir, I was born to die. Brother of deception leaves me with no choice. I want to scream my heart out, but I have lost my voice. Thursday bears my name. Shameless, I'm still the same. All father of wind and rain. Thunder, I am your bane." So that's kind of the first verse and chorus. The second part, though, they don't take themselves seriously. "I believe in honor, and my fists made of steel. Loki is my brother. He has no sex appeal. Fire, blood, and magic leaves me with a thirst. I want to ride to battle, but I have lost my horse." So I just love it. He has no sex appeal. Hey, it rhymes with steel. So that's just one example of the silliness that I like. And we'll switch over to another song called The Theft of the Hammer. Theft of the Hammer deals with Loki taking Mjolnir and giving it to a giant, and then helping Thor retrieve the hammer by basically dressing him up as a bride to marry off to said giant to get Mjolnir back. So already the story is silly. but the lyrics also reflect the silliness. Here we go. He woke up in fear and doubt, hammerless and mad. Give it back at once, you thief, or I'll go tell my dad. Giant Slayer, Jotunbane, Mjolnir is its name. It was stolen and defiled, held as hostage in the giant's games. The adventure of the bride, and how Thor regained his pride. Stealing from a god, you clueless fools. I am the god of thunder. I will show you theft. Your world will fall and crumble down before my might. I would say right now, Brothers of Metal are probably my favorite metal band. And there have been days where I just listen to their albums on repeat as I'm working or whatever. Very inspiring for a Norse-flavored game, for sure. Last up on my list is Frozen Crown. This is also an Italian power metal band. And I like their songs. The one in particular that really inspires me, that I think would make a great villain scenario, is called I Am the Tyrant. And it gives me like, well, I don't know, like it's weird, but I get like a mummified werewolf in an ancient pyramid in the middle of a desert, buried and sealed, with like elemental servants that he's corrupted to his purposes, and he's kind of wakening up and starting to change the area, the environment. And I think it could be a sandbox kind of campaign where you're going to these different factions, the Daughters of Wind, the Sons of the Sea, and trying to figure out a way to end the menace forever. But I'll just do the lyrics and I guess kind of leave it at that. So, I am the tyrant. Born from the depths in the highlands, between the Daughters of Wind and the Sons of the Sea, raised by the wolves in their hunger, I knew the world's bloody end before the struggle began. Hail to the beast, to the pain that it brings, to the ashes it leaves after coming unseen. Over the hills we were carried by the wind, for the glory we will rise up again. I am the tyrant, crowned and fallen, before the age of men, beneath the dark. I am the hunter, bound and rotten, beyond the gates of hell. Far from my land, wild gales whisper my name. Buried under the sands lay the wasted remains of the kingdom we claimed. I'll release the fire moving towards the rifts as the wicked desire unleashes thorns entwined on my grave, sealed up forever my throne, death after death. I can't do justice to any of these songs just reading out the lyrics, so I encourage everyone, check them out. If they inspire you, great. If this is not your thing, that's okay too. Just a couple of things that inspire me, or I guess I'll end with this legitimate inspiration here. Brandish Gilhelm, hankering for an ale. I guess he goes by many names, but Runehammer was inspired by Black Sabbath's War Pigs. And he took that song, Generals Gathered in Our Masses, like witches at Black Masses, etc., etc., and he made a scenario there. These Vikings have been in cryo sleep for millennia, and they wake up. Their ship is being destroyed, and they're launched back to Earth. And there's just all-out war on the Earth. And basically, Earth opens up, and the Viking warriors fall to hell and have to fight Satan. It's pretty metal. It's pretty crazy. He played this at a con, and it was received so well that he actually turned it into Viking Death Squad, the RPG system from there. So, like, we could take some inspiration, make a campaign out of it, or if you got the chops, make a complete game out of the whole thing. So, it's pretty cool. I will leave on that note of awesome inspiration. Kind of wish it was me, but it's still pretty cool that somebody like Roomhammer, indie creator, could make a game of that quality, of that caliber. Rock, rock on. That would have been a really good place to end it. I keep finding new things to talk about here. Speaking of war pigs again, there is a movie on Netflix called Metal Lords, which features that song significantly. It's a fun watch. I'm not going to say it's the best, most profound movie out there or anything, but I had fun watching it. It's about 3 high school students trying to make the most metal band out there. And yeah, I don't know. It's fun. And you get to hear War Pigs played on a cello, I believe, or a bass, an upright bass. So, I don't know. It's fun. Hopefully this is the last time I will say goodbye. Thanks for doing this again, Carl. Enjoying it. And I'll talk to you later. Take care.
Mirke, thank you so much for that. Another rock journey here. I really do like Nightwish, like I've mentioned before, and Phantom of the Opera is a great cover. Both Tarja and Floor can hit those high notes. It's pretty amazing how they do it. I know Floor Jansen even sang with like an opera singer, like in some sort of like unplugged thing, like a Dutch opera singer, and it was pretty amazing. So cute. They're impressed, right? Like the range that these metal singers have, especially the women, is pretty amazing. So yeah, so I did check out some of the things that you mentioned. I did check out the "Heaven Is a Place on Earth" by Elvin King. I really enjoyed that. I guess I was a child of the '80s and watched a lot of MTV, so saw that Belinda Carlisle song a lot. I did enjoy Tiresias, both the Jethro Tull cover "Bring Me a Broadsword" and Rasputin, and it's a great tribute album to Ronnie James Dio, where the last in line is done by Tenacious D with that weird flute. So fun that you mentioned all those different. I would characterize them as power metal bands: Seven Kingdoms, Windrose, Beasts of Metal, Frozen Crown. Yeah, it's great about them, and they definitely don't take themselves seriously because they kind of dress up. So I guess there is this thing about sort of dressing up. So, like for example, Beasts of Metal dress up in very sort of Dark Ages, early Viking type of dress, the Viking Age type dress. Frozen Crown also dressed up. Windrose, they dress up like dwarves as you would expect from the Lord of the Rings. So I think that's pretty cool. So I have Viking Death Squad. You mentioned that, but I have not run it. I have not run Viking Death Squad. Maybe I don't know. It'd be something fun to do. It'd be like a short campaign that you could do. It's a very cool book. I really enjoy it. It's a pretty book, and it'd be fun to run. So yeah, I don't. I was kind of just as you were listing these things, I was checking them out. I checked out some of the other bands that you mentioned in the last podcast. Another fun sort of movie. I have not seen Metal Lords. I probably want to check that out. I think I saw the trailer and it'd be kind of neat to watch. Maybe I started watching some of it. I'm not sure. I know that Knights of Badassdom with Peter Dinklage in it. His favorite movie that he does. I saw that on Hot Ones. No, I don't think it's his favorite movie. He laughs about his role in there, but yeah, I think it has some cool. Doesn't have any full metal songs. It's a pretty interesting soundtrack. Some cool metal riffs. They never played the whole song too. Just like that Tenacious D song, a tribute, because you never really hear the song. It's just a tribute, right? So I really enjoying this dialogue, and I was actually checking through Amazon Music and looking at some, like this one thing that came up is Redo, 051, Iron Maiden in context. So the roots of their music, I guess it seems like it was maybe a cruise that they did, and they have a lot of different songs, not just their own songs, but songs from other bands, including one of them that I mentioned, Rainbow Stargazer, which I talked about as a really cool inspiration for potential game, right? But they have like Detroit Rock City here, Immigrant Song, Highway Star, Highway to Hell by Highway Star by Deep Purple, Highway to Hell by AC/DC, and yeah, I guess as I'm talking about this, and I'm probably printing. Paul Di'Anno, the first singer of Iron Maiden, passed away this week, so I don't know the details, but I really liked Iron Maiden. Again, I got into it. Number the Beast era. I was a fan of the British wave of heavy metal, but I did go back to the older catalog and checked out Killers and Iron Maiden, and I really liked what Paul Di'Anno brought to Iron Maiden. And yeah, it's a really eclectic mix. I mean, things Poison, Aerosmith is on this list that maybe Iron Maiden talked about during that cruise. But of course, they have like Venom, Welcome to Hell, and some death metal stuff as well. Evil by Merciful Fate in general. Yeah, and actually speaking of like concept albums and dressing up, King Diamond is definitely the performer. I was so happy I was able to see him last year, but I mean some of his albums, like Abigail, is a whole tale. There's even a graphic novel on Abigail actually out there now, but it's a whole narrative and a tale, so it's pretty neat. I just looking at some of this things on there, like Neon Nights. It's about vigilante justice, right? So it's pretty cool. It's during the Black Sabbath, during the Ronnie James Dio era. So it's pretty cool. It's neat. It's neat to do that. I remember the videos of the 1980s or so, Looks at Kill, like a whole post-apocalyptic mini scenario, I guess, in there. I think one neat... it's unfortunate that they never did, like, I feel like if Crocus, the band Crocus, had continued and made a few more albums, maybe they made more albums than I think they made. I will check that. Hold on. They definitely have a deeper catalog than I realized. I kind of fell into them circa 1983 with Headhunters, their seventh studio album. Probably maybe their most popular album. I'm not sure, but The Blitz potentially also. I kind of remember. It had like Midnight Maniac, Our Love, Ballroom Blitz. And then I don't know. After that, after 1984, it's kind of died. But apparently they kept going. Broke up around, had album here and there. Broke up around '99. Got back together in 2003, and piddled a bit, and then had an album in 2017. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they ever. Anyway, why am I talking about Crocus? So there's this one song on Headhunter that really, to me, could be a cool adventure, and that's called "Screaming in the Night." It seems like there's this. If you listen to the narrative, it seems like a guy who was ambushed in an attack. It seems very, fantasy, role-playing inspired, and he's captured, and he reminisces about what happened and how he was betrayed. And I just think it'd be a great intro to an adventure, or maybe the conclusion of an adventure. Right? It's a song about a lover's vengeance. Right? Sons of vengeance, can you rescue me? They got me tied up to a woe tree. Right? The gate was getting rescued. We sailed into the dark. Yeah, totally. And then of course, in the corner of the valley, we took him by surprise. The sound of steel rang loud above the battle cries. But then I found her lying lifeless, dagger through her heart. I picked her up and held her high. I swore to be avenged. But then, of course, he's captured apparently, and maybe it's vengeance didn't work. Maybe that's the moral of the story. I don't know if they ever had like a sequel. in all the albums that they did. But alas, as the authors tell it, it is about dealing with your inner demons. However, a different interpretation tells of a story very parallel to like the Conan the Barbarian movie. A man and his people are slave captured. He escapes, falls in love with a woman. They take revenge or seek to take revenge on their former masters, but the woman dies in his arms, and he swears revenge. So he is alone. So it could be a cool premise or intro to a story, much like I think Stargazer from Rainbow could be. Well, enough of that type of inspirational, anecdotal things. Let's jump to Rocktober. I'm going to do the next 10 days from where I left off, days 15 to 25, today being the 25th of October. And then I guess by next Friday, you'll have the rest, days 26 through 31. So let me get to it. Day 15, my prompt is the best favorite band concept costumes. Well, I got a lot to choose from, thanks to Mark the Meek. Favorite band concept and costumes. You know, I go back. You know, I go back to my '80s roots. I think because I've heard the lead singer talk about it, and it's kind of that hair band era and all that, and how that glam rock was around. And I think Wasp probably had the best kind of concept costumes. It kind of silly, Blackie Lawless, lots of spikes and buzzsaws coming out of crotches. Apologies, but it's just kind of funny. So there you go. Wasp. I think it's my favorite concept costume. Day 16, the song in my library that is the most insidious earworm. Wow, so, these are getting a little harder. What is the most insidious earworm of a song? You know, probably one that I think about a lot. And Pantera has this ability to have these earworms, right? Mouth for War is one that comes to mind first. But Respect, Walk, 5 Minutes Alone, those really get to you. So I say Pantera probably has one of the songs, probably Walk. That would be the most insidious earworm, I think. Day 17 that I put was the most engaging, or prompt 17. We're so out of order on the dates. The most engaging fans in a venue or from a show or the fan club. Most engaging fans. The most engaging fans in a venue. I guess I was thinking or channeling like Rocky Horror Picture Show. The fans that got into it the most. I know. I remember. And I'm glad I put this prompt in there, maybe because this is what I was thinking. But I went to Rockfest, the last Rockfest I had here in San Antonio. Saw a lot of cool bands. Saw some really cool bands. I think I saw Stained there. I saw Trent Reznor. Saw Primus, Clutch, bands I wouldn't normally go out on my way to see. Joan Jett was there, but I also saw Suicidal Tendencies, and something. We were there on the floor, me and my buddy, and then I was in front of the stage. There's multiple stages outdoors, right? And then all of a sudden, this like swirl started happening, and this like mosh pit formed spontaneously, and it was like this whirlpool of people jumping around to Suicidal Tendencies. It wasn't institutionalized. I wonder what song it would have been. Let me see if I can think or remember or be prompted for what song it could have been. Oh yeah, now it comes to mind. You Can't Bring Me Down. You can't bring well, that's what you can't bring me down. Yeah, I mean, it just started going. It's pretty cool. So that's my horrible uh, mimicking of Suicidal Tendencies song. I really do like how Well Out Tomorrow, of course, Institutionalized, A War Inside My Head, all great songs. Um, so it's really cool. I do like that. I mean, I guess they're kind of like sort of punk. I get would they be new metal? I don't know. They're kind of like punk metal, thrash a bit, a little different. I mean, I guess they're not. The chords and the song pacing is not so low or slow that it's like stoner metal. But I mean, there's a lot of that in the lyrics and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you can't bring me down. So Suicidal Tendencies. That is my prompt 17. Oh, I guess. Well, does this go into the most memorable show, moment, or song? No, it's not the same. The most memorable show and moment. Um, Man, it's two things. I don't know how you will perceive me, my listeners, but two songs during the Slayer final show, final tour, when they played "Hell Awaits." That just got me going. Just such an enjoyable build up to that song, and just so great to see that in concert. And then for the King Diamond show that I saw in Atlanta, actually, ironically in a place called the Tabernacle. Great venue. Oh man, they have like the best. Uh, I would say one of the best craft beer in can selection there at the Tabernacle. At least they did when I went there. But when King Diamond went up and played Satan's Fall, man, just the opening riff on that, or yeah, is just got me going. That very memorable. I loved it. Um, so yeah, it's great. Best, most memorable show that I've been to. What's the best show that I've been to? Man, I don't know. That's prompt number 19. It's the best show that I've been to. It's a tough one. I've seen so many good shows. I know it's really neat to see like Priest, Painkiller in Worcester, Massachusetts. Um, Man, I feel like maybe an early one, the first time I saw Priest was Defenders of the Faith. So I think that was just really cool. Just knowing, going with some of my buddies there. I think it was that buddy of mine that we went, and we were just like, oh, I know what song we're gonna play first. And of course, they played, Helion Electric Eye to open the show. You could see in the shadows, like people moving up the sort of the stage. They had a high point on the stage, and they had both guitars, Glenn Tipton and Kiki Downing, on either side on these high point, like a high platform on the stage, and they played the opening riff to Helion. And check it out, Helion Electric Eye, memorable riff is great. And then Rob Halford comes down like on his own platform from where the lights are. Well, it's great. That's fantastic. I think coupled with that is maybe Judas Priest. The first time I saw Priest and Rob Halford, it was great. But that whole show, the whole Defenders of the Faith show, from the beginning to the end, I think been the most memorable show that I've been to. So I think number 20, prompt 20, so Sunday the 20th, I had a prompt for the most amazing album with the least amount of drop off. Well, I was actually thinking about that today, and I think Scorpions Blackout. No drop off on that album. No drop off. I mean, it's such a fantastic album. Scorpions Blackout. I don't think any song is bad on that. I mean, I'm sure you've heard some of these, and they played out a lot of them on the radio all the time on like MTV, like No One Like You. But that's song number 3, Blackout, Can't Live Without You, Give Me All I Need, Now, Dynamite, kind of probably my favorite. More modern Scorpion song. In Trance is probably my favorite older Scorpion song. Arizona, China White, and then it ends with The Smoke Is Going Down. This album does not drop off. If you like that sort of 80s European metal, British wave plus German wave, Crocus, I guess Swedish wave, all those bands, but Scorpions Blackout does every song is good. Just every song is good. There's no drop off on that album. I would say, let me look at Screamin' for Vengeance, like the playlist for Screamin' for Vengeance and how that stacks up. There's some, Hell Yeah, Electric Eye, Riding on the Wind, Bloodstone, Take These Chains, Pain and Pleasure. Maybe that drops off a little bit. So it's good, hard, low chord, slow beat type of song. Screaming for Vengeance, best song on the album, I think. Although Electric Eyes probably gets more. You Got Nothing Coming, play that all the time. Fever, Devil's Child. Oh yeah. Oh wow. On the remake, on the expanded edition, by the way, they have Electric Eye live from San Antonio Civic Center. San Antonio Civic Center. I don't know. I don't think there's a Civic Center. I saw them in the old arena. I guess that's what they call the Civic Center. Man, it's probably from. I didn't see Screaming for Vengeance. I saw Defenders of the Faith, but I think that's another album that doesn't drop off for me. Maybe Peace of Mind by Iron Maiden. Let me see that playlist. Well, yeah, Trooper, Where Eagles. Well, those are the songs from it, but the album itself, Where Eagles Dare, the drum solo at the beginning, Revelations, Flight of Icarus, Die with Your Boots On. That's side one. I had an album. Trooper, Still Life, Quest for Fire, Sun and Steel, Titanium Land. I mean, I don't know. The B-sides, but Blackout to me is the standout album with no drop off, and I will always say that. 21, best favorite classic metal. Well, Black Sabbath. No doubt about it. Black Sabbath is my favorite classic metal. Black Sabbath, iconic album, started the genre in a way. Although I think there is some earlier stuff also. I think Deep Purple, Machine Head also would be a best classic. I think the Deep Purple Machine Head is the one with Smoke on the Water, of course. So that's pretty good album. Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, Space Truckin', yeah, Space Truckin', the theme song of Traveler. 22, favorite most notable guitarist. See that one? I don't know. I kind of heard some of the stuff earlier or the other day, but I would say favorite most notable guitarist. I would say for me, I go back. I guess I shouldn't. I mean, I would say Zakk Wylde, contemporary, probably one of my favorites. But I think going back, Yngwie Malmsteen, favorite classic guitarist. I think Ozzy Osbourne had a plethora. Randy Rhoads and Jakey Lee, for example, great guitarists. I mean, I feel like Priest and Maiden, the dual guitarist thing might dilute them, but Ozzy had Randy Rhoads, and I think, and then from the new metal era or the 90s era, Dimebag Darrell, from Pantera, I think would be another notable guitarist. The classic riffs from that he developed from for those albums, for the Pantera stuff, were phenomenal. I think iconic. From Cowboys from Hell and Mouth for War specifically, and then Far Beyond Driven, the Great Southern Trendkill. So I think those would be my favorite guitarists. So where are we now? Day 23. Favorite most notable drummer. Yeah, Neil Peart, to me, hands down, with the other guy, Mike Portnoy. He was in Dream Theater and other bands, but Neil Peart and Mike Portnoy are the ones that it's great. I don't know. He's Neil Peart to me is hands down. Also, the fantastic lyricist for Rush, but his drum, professor of the drum kit. If you go back and listen to some of those Exit Stage Left, and All the World's a Stage live albums from Rush, he just does his drum solo. They record his drum solo, and it's pretty amazing. And it's great to hear it. You just know it's coming. You didn't know exactly what song was coming in. I think it was YYZ initially, but before it was in Working Man. But YYZ being the acronym to the Toronto Airport. So for my Canadian, see, I know some Canadian. Anyway, yeah, Neil Peart, and then I guess Mark Portnoy from Dream Theater. If you listen to the Dream Theater's drums, you can really hear the drum expertise there from Mike Portnoy. Day 24, 24th day prompt yesterday, the 24th of October. The best, quote, sing from a metal god. I think maybe because I experienced it, is Rob Halford going, breaking the what? Breaking the what? Breaking the law. And then it goes into Breaking the Law off the British Steel album, which is the shirt I'm wearing right now as I record this. It's like a British Steel anniversary tribute type of shirt. I didn't go to the 1977-78 show, British Steel. But the other one I love comes from is it Live After Death? Yes, the Iron Maiden Live After Death album, and it's when Bruce Dickinson goes, "Scream for me, Long Beach, scream for me, Long Beach, the Iron Maiden," and they played in the encore the Iron Maiden. So I think that's fun. I don't know if actually any. These are quotes from their concerts. I don't know any, words of wisdom that they may have dropped in some, hit parader or metal magazine, And day 25, can't forget the best bassist. Yeah, I think maybe because they're not just like Neil Peart, this bassist is not just a bassist, but writes a lot of the lyrics and music for Iron Maiden, and that is Steve Harris. He's a fantastic bassist. I think runner-up is actually Geddy Lee because he does the singing and as well as the bass playing, writes the music, and then does like the keyboards and stuff for Rush. Rush being progressive metal or progressive rock, right? But Steve Harris just is a fantastic bassist. So there you go. That's days 15 through 25. Rocktober Part 3. So next will be the fourth album in this Rocktober series. Days 26 Saturday, or prompts 26 to 31 Saturday to next Thursday. I cannot believe that Rocktober is almost over. That rhymes. Anybody want a peanut? Stop rhyming. I mean it. So thank you for listening. This has been the Geomologist Presents. Shoot me a line. Thank you again, Mirke, for sending me a message. I hope you haven't. I apologize that I kind of dropped a week. It's just recovery from Big Texas Comic Con, other things got in the way, just finding the time. Because I have more content to share, but this is already close to 45 minutes, and that's probably my max. So anyway, have a good one. Send me a line, either through the Discord, drop me a direct message. I have a SpeakPipe account linked here in the show notes, or you can email me at geomologist@gmail.com. Good night and good rolling. Thank you, Mysterious Benefactor, for the end music. The in-between musics are from Looperman, which is a donation sampling site that you subscribe to. My wife, Amy, does the cover clip art. I already said the good night, good rolling thing. Bye.